inspection was nothing but a smokescreen.
It's okay.
I heard explosions, then...
Okay.
They played us like a damn fiddle!
Big Boss is blindsided when he returns to his PMC, MSF, after a seemingly successful mission to find it being blown to pieces. Who dared to attack MSF so brazenly while he was away? Why was MSF targeted in the first place? The main campaign of Ground Zeroes is only like an hour long, but that hour is jam-packed with traitorous acts and desperate responses. Today, we're going over who was working for who, and why they did the things that they did. Heads up, this video will have spoilers for Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, Ground Zeroes, and major spoilers for the Phantom Pain. Welcome back! If you're new here, my name is Luffy and welcome to my channel. I talk video games and character analysis, so if that's your thing, subscribe and stick around. If you like what I do here, consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a channel member so that I can continue to bring these videos to you weekly. Special thanks to Mr. Cornell on Twitter for suggesting this topic. Let's hop right into Ground Zeroes. MGS5 Ground Zeroes.
Word of our capabilities gets out, and we'll have the whole world out to shut us down.
On a dark and stormy night, Big Boss infiltrates Camp Omega to rescue Chico and Paz, two members of his PMC, MSF. A year prior, Paz had betrayed BB and tried to force him to return to Cypher, though regardless of this betrayal, BB has to recover Paz lest she give up any more secrets about BB and MSF to his enemies. Ground Zero seemed straightforward at first, a sneaking mission to recover two prisoners, but quickly takes a sharp left turn when BB returns home to find MSF burning. Who attacked MSF? Why did they attack MSF? Skullface heads up one of Cypher's strike teams, the organization Paz had been working for. Cypher is a recluse and difficult to find, though he knows Paz spoke to Cypher personally and could give him clues on how to find him. Skullface disagrees with Cypher's goals and is driven to ruin them. Who is Cypher? Cypher is both the name of an organization and a code name their leader goes by. He also goes by Zero, and Major Tom, and his organization is also called the Patriots. Zero, I'll be calling him Zero from here on out, and his organization, Cypher, lost a dear friend of his, the Boss, who wanted to see the world united regardless of borders. Zero thought the best way to accomplish this was by controlling the world from behind the scenes, and so he created his shadow organization and systems to control information and the public. Zero's native language is English, so his systems are all written in English, giving his systems inherent biases. Skullface's native language, Hungarian, was stripped from him from a young age, so the thought of Zero's English systems being used on non-English speakers enraged him. He didn't want to see more people potentially lose their native language. Although stripping people of their language wasn't Zero's goal, there could be unintended side effects of an English-speaking system imposed on people who don't speak English. Skullface wanted to stop Cypher and was willing to do anything to erase his systems. Skullface also heard about Zero's goal of uniting the world to honor his fallen friend and felt that Zero had misinterpreted the Boss. He felt that he could achieve unification of the world even better than Zero could, and that he better understood the Boss's will. So Skullface started to plot how he could get to Zero.
Cypher's been in hiding ever since his grand experiment. No one's seen him in years. All we hear are orders delivered by proxy.
The first step in his plan was to interrogate Paz and Chico.
You met with him, face to face, in order to contact Big Boss. Tell me where he is. Where is Cypher? Where is Zero?
Paz had been one of the few people who had ever had a face-to-face conversation with Zero. What's more, Paz had been on MSF's mother base and had crucial information on the ins and outs of the organization, as well as Big Boss. Though Chico had no information on Zero, he definitely had information on MSF, so Skullface was happy to capture him too. Why does information on MSF matter when Skullface is trying to get to Zero? Zero and BB used to be besties, both working to achieve the Boss's will. They disagreed on what that meant, however, and went their separate ways. Zero couldn't give up on BB though, wanting him to return to his organization as his reputation was an intimidating mascot for them, and Zero probably missed his friend too. Skullface could get to Zero through BB. By destroying MSF, Skullface could rattle Zero and force him to make some bonehead moves that may give him the opportunity to track him down. So, to recap. Zero leads Cypher, an organization that's trying to unite the world through systems of information control behind the scenes. BB disagrees with this tactic and so splits and forms MSF. Skullface works for Zero as the head of one of his strike teams, and when he learns of Zero's true goals, he too disagrees with them. Though instead of leaving, Skullface decides to destroy Cypher and unite the world in his own way. To figure out where Cypher is, he kidnaps Paz, an operative that worked for Cypher and spoke to him personally, and Chico, a member of MSF, and interrogates them both. When he gets what he needs from them, he lets BB rescue them, though not before implanting 2 bombs inside of Paz in an assassination attempt against BB. Skullface then loads up with part of his team and flies to MSF to destroy it while BB is away rescuing Paz and Chico. He knows that destroying MSF will get to Zero. Ground Zeroes ends with BB, Kaz, Chico, Paz, and an unnamed medic flying away from their exploding mother base. Paz realizes she has a second bomb inside of her, they removed the first, and she jumps from the helicopter in an attempt to save them. The blast from the bomb sends the helicopter spiraling out of control and they collide with another helicopter. This hospitalizes the people on board, with Chico presumed to be dead. We never see his death on screen and he's never mentioned, but he likely died due to the collision. Your thoughts? One of the most interesting questions I've ever considered when it comes to Ground Zeroes is, was the Ground Zeroes we played through the real deal, or was it just a simulation to train Venom to be Big Boss? There are some key clues that hint that GZ may not be as real as we thought it was, such as when Kaz says,
I can't believe we ever bought that cover story.
in regards to Paz. Paz was an agent sent in by Cypher, but Kaz knew that, and also told BB as much at the end of Peace Walker. So why is it that he's saying they bought her cover story in GZ? One explanation is that the person who put together the training exercise for Venom didn't know about Kaz's conversation at the end of PW, and so wrote a mistake into the simulation. Or, if it was Zero who put on the GZ training simulation for Venom, he cut that part out so that Venom would trust Kaz more. We took a poll here on YouTube asking whether you thought GZ was real or a simulation, and the majority of you voted that GZ was real. Personally, I question it. We've already had Snakes trained in VR, and MGS2 was a simulation to test both the ability of the Patriots to control information and to test if a snake could be made if the circumstances were right. Why couldn't GZ be a simulation to train up a new snake? Chazarus commented, I always like to imagine how Venom's simulated training went. Even though tech in the MGS world advanced faster than tech in our world, I like to think of his training as just Ocelot sitting beside Venom's bed in Cyprus, reading mission logs to a drugged up and hypnotized Venom as if he were telling a bedtime story. I love this imagery. The image of Ocelot sitting next to a comatose Venom reading mission logs like a bedtime story is both adorable and so sinister. Venom really had no idea what he was being thrust into when he first woke up in that hospital in Cyprus, and I wonder how quickly they made the decision to shape Venom into a BB clone. A couple of y'all mentioned outside evidence as to whether or not GZ was real, and I found that really interesting. Eric Figura 5956 commented, didn't they say that David Hayter is Big Boss? GZ was voiced by Kiefer Sutherland. I'm thinking that was a simulation. And Abel 8831 commented, I would think it was a developer oversight, but then again, I could be wrong. I had never thought about the switch from David Hayter to Kiefer Sutherland as an indicator that GZ was a simulation, but I really like that. I'd also never thought about that line from Kaz being developer oversight. That's such an interesting thing to think about, and I wouldn't hold it against the developers if they didn't remember every single fact about MGS, and that there were some errors because of that. I don't personally lean in that direction, just because I've never found another mistake like that in MGS, but it's an interesting point to bring up. Lastly, Lucid 8 Nightmare Lucid 8 Night 88 brought up the list of Japanese train stations, the visual digital glitches, Kaz's commentary on Paz, lights shining in areas that have no source, the dogs that are only seen once in the opening, etc., are a few examples that make me lean to VR. I'd never noticed any of the things Lucid brought up other than the dogs. I know they couldn't find a way to make the dogs work and had to cut them, and it makes me want to replay GZ and search for all of these things. GZ being real or a simulation is such an interesting question to consider, and I can understand both sides of the argument, though I personally believe GZ was a simulation used to train Venom. For a game that's only about an hour long, Ground Zeroes gives us a ton to dive into and analyze. Skullface has gone rogue, MSF is destroyed, and all because Zero wants to control the world through his English-speaking systems. I hope after this video the events in GZ and why they transpired are a little clearer to you. But if you still have questions, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you so much for making it to the end of today's video. If you liked it, share it with someone who wants to know more about Metal Gear Solid lore. If you need more MGS content, check out my Patreon or become a channel member. I upload articles I write on upcoming videos or just thought pieces on MGS in general. Or join us in Discord, we're always talking about MGS. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourself and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you. Special thank you to our $10 Patreon, Nader Najat. Thank you so much for your support.